All right, look who's back. Oh my gosh, I miss you, mamas, so much. I feel like it has been so long since I have been on here and recorded a video. It's honestly only been like a month, maybe, but that seems like a long time. So, I am here today to talk to you about values. And I feel like I've talked about this before in a different way and more about like personal values and, are you living in your values that you have chosen for yourself? And have you even chosen what values you want to live by for yourself? So I've talked about that before. And this call, I really want it to be about your values for your family and your values that your family live by. And ideally, you want to do this with your spouse, probably. You want to do this with your whole family so you're all on the same page. But I did it by myself at first because I'm going to be completely honest. When I had a coach one time ask me what, she just said, what values do you live by? What values does your family live by? And I can't remember how she worded it. But either way, I heard the word values and I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're referring to. Like, I had to Google what values are. Like, what are examples of values? And so, if you are kind of thinking the same thing right now, I have a list in front of me because literally that is what I need to have, which is hilarious. We were taught this in school. Like, we know what values are, but I'll tell you kind of just a few from the list. So there's different like categories of values. At least that's how I broke it down because I have my personal values and then I have like my entrepreneurial values, if that's how I want to say that. Non entrepreneurial. Such a hard word for me to say, guys. And then I have like my lifestyle values, family values, like I like to break it down into different segments. So maybe you do too. So some personal values would be like genuine, kindness, trustworthy, self-respect, sincere, like those kinds of characteristics are your values. For lifestyle values, maybe it's celebrating the small things. That's one that I love. I have a quote, random side note. I have a quote on this sign that's in our living room and it says celebrate all the little things and the big things and small things in between. And I feel like I said that wrong. I look at it every day and I swear I pay attention to it. But essentially it's meaning like celebrate all of the things, the big and the small. And so that could be a lifestyle value of yours. What else? Like freedom could be a lifestyle value, connection, health, spirituality. Like there's so many that you could choose from, honestly. So those are just like some examples of values. And again, like go on Google, go on Pinterest, like look up different ones and just kind of choose from that list. Like which ones do you want to live by the most? And then again, if you're doing this for family, maybe you want to do this with your spouse or with your whole family. But I started off just doing it by myself because I needed to figure out what it is I wanted my values to be and what it is I wanted to kind of preach. So I'll tell you what I kind of narrowed down for my favorites for values, and I won't tell you all of them. I picked like I think it's probably 10 to 12, honestly. Let me see. I guess I could tell you right here. Okay, so I didn't number them. Let's just say it looks like 10 to 12. And so these eventually one day will be hung. I know exactly where in our like kitchen slash living room. There's a blank wall that is absolutely perfect for this. And so I will get this made and put on our wall because it is very important to me and it should kind of be important to you too. I don't like to say should very often, but it's really important to know your values. It's really important to teach values as a family because yes, it's taught in school, but you might have some that you have learned are very important and you want to make sure that your child chooses or your family chooses. So, again, going into the ones that I chose, um, intuition slash integrity. So that means we listen to ourselves first. We choose to do the right thing even when it's hard. We are honest and follow our own compass and not society's. So that is that like intuition and that like keeping integrity with ourselves because we're listening to ourselves and not society. Another one is silver lining slash question everything. It's kind of what I think about too. So in that sense, finding the silver lining, right? Like finding the positive and the negative. So for me, that's also kind of like a question. So how is this happening for me? How else could I be looking at this? And then we always see the lesson or the positive in that moment when we ask ourselves those questions. Um, Another value is possibility. And I love this one. The word to me is just very powerful. And so when we have the value of possibility, that means we dream of what's possible. We live to be the example of what's possible. And we remain open and courageous enough to pursue that and just to go towards what is possible and think about that more than we think about what's impossible for us, quote unquote, impossible, right? So, another value is faith. And this could look different for everyone. For me personally, I said, knowing that there is a higher power guiding us with a plan so beautiful, even on the hard days. And I mean, of course, universe, God, however you kind of think about this, having faith just in general is so important. It is such an important value to have because, like I say all the time, faith over fear. And I had a client recently ask, like, what does that mean to you? And I love that she asked this question because to me, this is what that means. Knowing that there is a higher power guiding me or my family with a plan that is so beautiful. I don't even know it yet. Like, even on the hard days, I can know faith over fear. Like I can just think that over and over again and immediately calm down. Like if you want to talk about like calming your nervous system down, this is it. Have faith over fear. I swear one day I'm going to write a book and it's going to be titled that, so don't steal it. But I'll just say like a couple more because I want you to really think about the values and what you would want them to be for yourself and for your family. Two more, I'll say. One is love. This is just such a huge one for me. And I'll be completely honest in saying that I grew up in a very loving household. My husband grew up in more of a tough love kind of household. And so when I think about love, I'm thinking that we lead with love, knowing that it's what every single person needs more of. And like love is home to me. So when I think about our family values, like when you come home, you know you're going to come home to love. You know that like this is a safe space and a loving space. And that is just so incredibly important to me. And again, I was very blessed to grow up in that environment. And I just want to ensure that my daughter feels that way too, that every time she walks in that door, that this is a place of love and that we are going to lead with love every time that we possibly can. Knowing that it's what we need more of, especially in those hard moments, especially in those tough moments. It's what we need more of. So I'm actually going to end on that one because I want this to be short. I want you guys to look up your own list of values. I want you to take a look and see which ones you really vibe with, which ones your husband vibes with, everyone in your family kind of agrees on. And I'll put this out in the world eventually. I'll be honest, I love it. I love having it for myself, but I'll definitely put it out in the world so that you guys can see and you can choose some of the same because of course we are all going to choose similar values in some way. So get to researching what values you and your family are going to live by and let me know what those are because I love to just see all of the ideas and see what everyone is striving for. So, all right, mamas, that's what I've got for you. I'll talk to you later.